Today for our bell work in consumer math, I want you to try the following problem. If Jade wants to borrow $180,000 for a home, how much must her annual income be? Please pause the recording right now, attempt the problem, and then check yourself by starting the recording again. First off, what do we do to find how much her annual income will be? Are we using the renter's rule or the banker's rule? We are using the banker's rule. If she wants to borrow $180,000 for a home, you must take that amount and then either multiply or divide by 2.5. You're right, we're going to divide by 2.5. And what did you come up with? You should have come up with $72,000. That should be her annual income if she wants to have a mortgage or borrow $180,000 for a home. If you did not get that, please correct your bell work and then put your bell work up and trade your homework. And there should be an answer key for you to check your partner's homework and go over any questions that you have. Then you may start the recording again. Today our lesson is on page 78 in your textbook. It's entitled Paying the Mortgage. Now there's several kinds of mortgage loans. The most common loan is called a fixed rate mortgage. The interest rate and monthly payment on principal and interest remain the same until the loan is paid. This is the kind of mortgage that you really want to look for. There is another kind, it's called a variable rate mortgage, and the interest rate and the monthly payments change periodically. This is not a good idea, especially if you're a first-time homeowner, to get a variable rate mortgage. And if you don't have a steady income, that is a problem as well, because interest rates and the amount that you pay per month could go up drastically. In fact, that's part of the problem that was caused by the home kind of crash that we had several years ago. So you want to look for a fixed rate mortgage. So today we're going to look at finding out how much principal you're going to pay and how much you're going to have as a payment per month. Let's take an example. Joseph Gold wants to buy a home. He has enough money for a large down payment. He took out a fixed rate mortgage for $50,000 to be paid in 30 years. The bank charges him 8% interest. What is his monthly payment? Okay, now he must have had a fairly large down payment if the remaining part that he's going to finance is only $50,000. He's going to pay that amount off in 30 years. The bank is going to charge him an 8% interest. In order to find his monthly payment, we're going to look at a table. Now I know online you can find some programs that you punch that information in, they can kick out what your monthly payment would be. And that's probably something that we'll go over also, but not today's lesson. We're going to look up 50,000, so take a look at your table. 50,000, and you got it for 8%. You find where those two intersect, and we get 367. So his monthly payment will be $367. For instance, let's say I have a mortgage of 70,000 for 9.5% interest. Then your monthly payment would be $589. All right, so let's review some terms. Fixed rate mortgage is a loan in which the interest rate and payments remain the same. This is a good thing. This is the kind you really want to look for. Your monthly payment is the amount of money paid every month on your mortgage or your loan. A variable rate mortgage is a loan in which the interest rate and payments change over time. And it's not a very smart idea to find that, especially for first-time homeowners. Let's look at example 1. We're going to use the table, so we'll have to flip back and forth to look at this or look at it in your textbook as well. We're going to find the monthly payment for a mortgage of $80,000 for an interest rate of 9.5%. $80,000, 9.5%. Okay, so we must look up $80,000, and we go over to 9.5%, and what number do we find? $673. So that'll be the amount of our monthly payment if we're going to borrow $80,000 at 9.5% interest. So our monthly payment will be $673. and we used our table to find that. In exercise A, you'll complete this exercise similar to this example. Okay, let's go then to page 79 and look at extenuating this problem. Okay, so Joseph has a loan for $50,000. He's paying 8%. How much will Joseph Gold pay the bank over the 30-year time period? And to find that out, you must find out how much he's going to pay in 1 year. So we know his monthly payment, where we found that out on the chart, was $367. To find out how much he's going to have in payments per year, take that times 12. So in 1 year, he's going to pay $4,404 for his mortgage. Now, what do you think we need to do then in order to find out how much we will pay over the total length of the loan, which is 30 years? Right, we're going to multiply the result, this number here, by 30. When we do this, we get a total of $132,120. That's how much he'll end up paying on the $50,000 that he borrowed. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? If we want to know how much of this money is total interest paid, then we take how much cash we actually did pay in all of our payments and subtract then the amount that we borrowed to find this is the amount of interest paid. So the interest we paid was more than what we had actually borrowed. And this is the way it works in our real world. You don't have the cash or the money to pay for something up front and you have to borrow money. You end up paying a lot more for the item. Okay, let's take a look at another example. Find the amount paid in 30 years and the total amount of interest paid for a mortgage of $60,000 at 10.5% interest. Okay, what's the first thing we need to find? Okay, the monthly rate or the monthly amount, okay. Now what do I need to use to find that monthly amount? All right, we're going to go back and look at the table. Okay, so now we have $60,000 is our mortgage at 10.5%, which would be how much per month? $549. Okay, let's remember that, $549. So we have $549 is our monthly payment. Okay, we need to find out the amount paid in 30 years. So what do I do with this amount? Okay, multiply it by 12 because there are 12 months in a year. And what do you come up with? $6,588. Okay, so that's how much we're paying in 1 year. Now to find out how much we're going to pay in 30 years, I will then take that times 30. And what are you all getting for your total? Total amount paid for the loan, the mortgage, is $197,640. That's what you're going to end up paying the bank. Now we want to know what is the total interest paid. What do I need to do next then? So this is the amount paid over 30 years, the total paid. And I will take off the mortgage amount, and what remains will be the interest that you paid, which is $137,640. That's a lot. That's your interest. Are there any questions? Today we've worked on trying to find how to pay the mortgage, what your monthly payments were going to be, how much you would pay over the period of the loan, and how much of that payment was actually interest. Your assignment for tomorrow in your textbook on pages 78 and 79, we're going to do exercises A and B. This concludes our lesson for today.